So when we are dividing, we're going to be writing both the negative and the 6 on both sides. And then we notice that with division, we want to first check what symbol we're going to have. Are we going to have a positive answer or are we going to have a negative answer? Because these symbols right here, let me change my color to a darker color. These symbols are both negative. These are the same symbols, so our answer is going to be positive. We can use our multiplication chart to do our division. So it looks like we're going to have a positive 10 here. Now, negative goes away. 6 divided by 6 is a 1. So we have 1b equaling to a negative 10. Moving on to this one here. Again, let's dotted line. Now this one again, I would like C to be alone. So we want to keep C. But I'm noticing that I have this line underneath. This line means I have division. And if I have division, that means I'm going to need to multiply to undo that. I'm going to rewrite this just to make this bigger. I'm going to bring that down. I'm just copying and pasting. Next, I am going to multiply. I'm going to draw a little line here, draw a little line here, and I'm going to bring that negative 8 on top. Now, if I do that, I also have to do on the other side. Now, notice I'm not subtracting 8. I do place this multiplication dot on both sides. So what ends up happening here is you're going to have that negative 8, that purple negative 8 on top, and that black negative 8 on the bottom. C, because C was in a bubble, was in a circle, we're just going to write C next to it. On the other side, I do have a negative 6 times a negative 8. Because it is multiplication, we do need to check the symbols. Is it going to be both positive, both negative? What do we have? So here I have a negative and a negative. That means same sign. So because they are the same sign, we're going to have a positive answer. Then we look at what 6 times 8 is. 6 times 8 is 48. Here, be careful. You're not going to multiply anything. When we write that 8 negative and 8 negative top and bottom, this is us removing it. This is just 1. So we're not doing anything with these green negative 8s. We're removing them. They are gone. Instead, we have just 1C equaling a positive 48. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to question number 7. Now, question number 7 starts with two-step equations. Now, you're going to be needing two operations to go ahead and evaluate or solve. Dotted line here. We're going to place a circle on negative 6D. This is the term that I would need to keep. So I need to start by removing this negative 3 with a positive 3. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. I'm going to bring this down. Be careful how you bring this down. This is negative 6 times, make 6 curly, D. And then we have 81 plus 3, which is an 84. Because we have this as 84, and we have this as negative 6. This negative 6 times D needs to be divided both sides by negative 6. Now when that happens, again, just like here with this negative 8 over 8, our goal is to remove 6's. So this is just 1. 1D is here. 84 divided by negative 6, use your multiplication table, is a negative 14. Now it's negative because the signs are opposite. Now I wanted to take a moment regarding this check that you see. We did do this once or twice in our notes, but I do want to spend a little bit more time on focusing how you check your answer. To check your answer, I'm going to copy down the original equation. Negative 6D minus 3 is equal to 81. Okay, this is the original. Then I am going to rewrite it, and I'm going to open up for the letter D. And I'm going to say, into that letter D place, I'm going to put a negative 14. Now this is for your homework. I am not going to ask you to do these extra steps on the exam. I do hope that you check your answer, but this actually writing it out is something that I am asking you to do for your homework. Now again, for your homework, you can use a calculator when it comes to checking. Everything else, please practice using a multiplication table. But for this check, I do want you to use a calculator. Negatives down at the bottom. 6, open, negative 14, close it, minus 3 equals. Now, what we're trying to do is we're going to make sure that we have a balance, that this side does in fact equal the other side. Now, if that happens, that means I have checked my answer, and yes, my answer is good. Now, if this creates not a balance, if it does not equal the same number on the left hand and the right hand side, that means something went wrong. Let's move on. Question number 8, dotted line. Circle the term with the letter, so I'm going to circle this right here. E divided by negative 2. That means I need to start by removing the 16 negative with a positive 16. Practice using counters here. We are removing that negative 16, so that's gone. Negative 23 plus 16. Use your fingers if you have to. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I get a 7, but with a negative. Bring down your E divided by negative 2. Now we need to get rid of that negative 2. I'm going to multiply both sides by bringing up that negative 2. I'm going to extend that dotted line. So I have E times negative 2 over negative 2. And on this side, I just have negative 2 times negative 7. Remember, you're not doing anything in this step. You're just removing things. This is gone. Bring down your E. Negative times negative. Be careful here. It is going to give you a positive answer. 7 times 2 is 14. Now, again, with our check, we're going to start off by writing out the equation. We got negative 23 equals E. We're going to open up for E. We're going to open up for E in a little different. That looks like a weird open. I'm going to open it up with parentheses with everything on the inside for the fraction. This happens when we get a fraction. It's a little weird on our calculator. Now, E was 14. So I'm going to type this into the calculator. You can do this with your brain. This is a homework assignment, so I am allowing you to check your answers with a calculator. We got open. We move the glare. We got open 14 divided by negative 2. Close it, minus 16. And make sure that the calculator gives you a negative 23. Oops, that's going to bother me. Let me go ahead and make sure I write a negative properly. Bring down the other side. And if they match, that's good. That means we have now checked our answer, and that checks that we have the correct answer. Now, if this does not balance, if we get two different numbers, that means your answer here is wrong. Moving on to question number 9. This is asking to combine like terms. When you are combining like terms, you are going to be combining the same letter and the same style. And I say that kind of weirdly because sometimes even if it's the same letter, but it looks like if it's a squared or a cubed, if it has a little number on top, then that looks a little different. For us in IM1, right now, at this moment, we are looking for the same letters. Or no letters at all. So I got a negative 5F, a positive 7F, a positive 2F. I then have a negative 2G, a negative 3G, and I have a positive 2 and a negative 4. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write these things together. Let's see if I can be fancy and color code this. Negative 5F plus 7F plus 2F. Then I have 2a minus 2g minus 3g. And lastly, I have a positive 2 and a negative 4. You're going to combine these, all of these terms with f's, all of these terms with g's, and all of these terms without a letter. 7 and negative 5, that is a positive 2. 2 and then another 2 gives us a positive 4f. Negative 2 and negative 3 g's gives me a negative 5g. Positive 2 minus 4 gives us a negative 2. And we have our answer. You don't combine the letters that are different. You only combine things that are common, things that share the same letter, or things like a constant that don't have any letters at all. Let's do that again with question number 10. Let's start off with h's. Negative 4h, positive 3h, negative h. I want to point out how I am taking the symbol with the term. So here I had a negative h, so I took that negative. Here I had a positive 3h, so I took that positive. Here I had a negative 4h, so I took that negative. Make sure you're taking the symbols. Let's go ahead and write this out. We got negative 4h plus 3h minus h. And here we have our constants. Constants are terms without any variables, so no letters at all. We're going to combine these. Let's extend that out just a little bit more, and then we're going to combine these. I have negative 4h's. I add 3h's, positive, so that means I have a negative 1h. Negative 1 and a negative 1h gives me a negative 2h's. Next, negative 6 plus 8, that gives me a positive 2. Positive 2 minus 10, that's a negative 8. And a negative 8 plus 12 is a positive 4. Again, you absolutely can use counters on the assessment. Oh, looks like I have two question number 10s. That's okay. Identify the following given. All right. When it comes to terms, terms are things that we have. Terms are things that are separated by pluses and minuses. Terms are basically everything that we see, except we have to write it as a list. So we have these circles that I have created. Inside of those we have terms. So 5j is a term, comma. Negative 3k is a term, comma. Positive 8 is a term, comma. Negative 2p is a term. Constants are terms without any variables, no letters. No letter means that I have a constant. Notice how I'm taking the symbol. You got to take the symbol. Coefficients are the terms with the variables, but I'm only going to take the number. So when I see a circle with 5j, I'm going to take a 5. I see a term with negative 3k, I'm going to take a negative 3. And I see a term with a negative 2p, I'm going to take a negative 2. I am not writing the variable. I'm not writing the letter. I'm just writing the number in front of the letter. Now, variables are our letters. We want an unknown letter that represents we want an unknown number, which is a letter. So I have a J, that's my letter, comma. I have a K, that's my letter, comma. I have a P. No numbers when it comes to variables. No letters when it comes to coefficients. Constants are no letters because there are no letters. It doesn't exist in a constant. I do want to point out that with a variable, there are no repeats. And this is only with variables. Everything else can have a repeat. Like I can have a -1 or a -2, -2, -2. But with variables, I can't write another P. I can't write another K because it's asking for the different letters. If I keep writing the same letter, they're not different. So please be careful with listing out your variables. Moving on. Question number 11, 12, and 13 on this page does end up increasing your complexity on solving equations. Let's go ahead and start by dotted line. Notice that now we need to start combining like terms. I got a -2r and a -4r. Now you have a choice here. You can either write them together like this, then bring down your +6, or you could have skipped that step and immediately started simplifying. So I will do that in the next example so you can see the differences. Here we have -2r and a -4r, gives me a -6r plus 6. Bring down that green +6. And notice how I'm just copying -18, nothing happens. Now we are down to a two-step equation, kind of similar to the ones we did before. I need -6r to be by itself, so I'm going to subtract 6. I have 18 negatives, and I'm putting in more negatives, -6 more, so that means I have a -24. We are removing that 6 and that -6, bringing down that -6r. Be careful here how you write this. This is multiplication. Now, anytime there's things missing, like there's things missing between a -6 and an r, that means there is a multiplication dot. We are trying to remove that -6, so I am going to divide -6 both sides. Again, our goal is to remove, so this is a 1. Bring down your r. What do we have here? We have a negative and a negative. That gives me an answer that's positive. 24 divided by 6 is 4. Again, let's go ahead and check our answer. Copy down the original equation. Open up anytime you see your letter R. So this example, because we had to combine like terms, there's two placements for R. R is a +4, so I'm going to put in a +4 here. And again, I am going to let you to use your calculator when you check your answers. So I'm going to ask you to type this into the calculator, which is -2, open, 4, close it, plus 6 minus 4, open, 4, close it, equals. And that does give me a -18, which is good because when I bring this down, it does give me a check, which means this answer checks out and R is in fact a +4. Now I promised to show you a little bit of a different way in number 12. So instead of rearranging it, this happens to be together, you can, here's your dotted line before I forget, you can just do these arrows. There's little connectors. And when you do that, you can immediately just write your simplified answer here. So for example, I have S and 11 S's. That means I have 12 S's. Bring down what you have here. So you can absolutely do that. Let me highlight that so you can see what we have. So I took a +S plus 11 S's, and I got 12 S's. Now, when we circle, I want to get the +12s alone. That means I need to get rid of, let me cover this up, I need to get rid of this 21. To get rid of this 21, I'm actually going to subtract 21 here and on the other side. Our goal is to remove that 21, so that 21 is gone. Bring down the +12 times s, dotted line for balance. -3 and -21 is a -24. Again, once we see that multiplication symbol, we got to divide. So we're dividing by 12, divided by 12. Using your multiplication table, we got s is equal to one negative, so 1 negative. 24 divided by 12 is -2. Let's go ahead and do that check. Hopefully your checks are now starting to feel a little bit more comfortable. We're going to copy down your original equation. Open up anytime you see the letter S. Take your S value, -2, and write it in. Then you're going to take and use a calculator. You can do this in your brain if you'd like. Because I would like for you to do a quick check, we want to just use a calculator and then move on with life. This does end up checking out. That means S is -2. Please do not put check marks unless you've actually checked your answers. It's very obvious if your answer is wrong and you have a check mark that you didn't do what you were supposed to do. So only after things have matched here that you can go back and check your answer on the other side. Next, moving on. We want a term here of 3t over 9 to be alone, dotted line. I'm going to subtract 8 both sides. Our goal is to remove 8, so let's go ahead and cross that out now. Bring down the 3t over 9. Then I'm going to say 7 minus 1 is a -1. Okay, here, be careful. Now, I have to deal with this division first, so I'm going to multiply both sides. Here's my bar, and I'm going to write that 9, so this 9 right here gets placed on top on both sides. Don't let this scare you. It's going to be okay. Next, we have 9 times 3t over 9. Don't worry about it. Equals -1 times 9 is a -9, dotted line. Now this looks scary. I understand this looks scary, but what's our goal with 9? Our goal with 9 is to remove it. 9 divided by 9 is 1, so that we get to remove. So that means I just have this 3 times t and a -9 on the other side. Well, how do we get rid of this 3? Well, it's being multiplied, so I am going to divide both sides by 3. What's our goal with 3? Our goal with 3 is to be removed. So t is equal to a -3. Let's check that answer. 3t over 9 less 8 equals 7. Now again, this one's going to be a little on the weirder side. 3 times t over 9. Because it's a fraction, we have to put extra parentheses on the outside, just like we did in a couple examples ago. Next, t was -3, so we write that in. Please type it in exactly how you see it. Open 3 times -3 over 9. Close it. Plus 8 equals, and that does give me 7, which is good. That means I can create a check mark that this answer actually checks out. Moving on. Next one is asking us to simplify each expression by using the distributive property, then combining like terms when possible. So 2 things you have to do. You have to use the distributive property, that's step 1. Step 2 is combining like terms if possible. Distributive property is where you have a number attached to parentheses, like this 4, and you have to put it on the inside of the parentheses. So we have 4 times u is in a bubble, and this is our English, and 4 times a +5. We do have this -6 on the outside. Now be careful, because anytime these numbers like 4 and parentheses, that means you have multiplication. 4 times u is 4u, and 4 times a +5 is a +20. And then you do have that -6 here. These are like terms because they do not have a letter. So 4u, 20 minus 6 is a +14. Let's do that again. This time we have a -4. I'm going to circle my -4. I'm going to bring it on the inside. and I'm going to bring it on the inside. I got negative 4 times 2v and a negative 4. You can put double bubbles here, it's okay. I accidentally put this negative 4 in parentheses, negative 3. Now be careful on this side, you do have this other questions, negative 4v plus 5, just like that. Negative 4 times 2 is a negative 8. Yes, it has that letter, so you have to place a v. And negative times negative is a positive. 4 times 3 is 12. Then we have this brown negative 4v plus 5. Be careful here because you do need to combine like terms. I have negative 8v's and negative 4v's. I also have a positive 12 and a positive 5. Negative 8 and negative 4. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we get negative 12v. And for the other one, we get 12 plus 5, and that is 17 positive. So without those lines, let's actually write our answer. Negative 12v plus 17 is our simplified solution. Question number 16. For question number 16, they are asking us to use the distributive property and then to simplify. So let's go ahead, dotted lines. We need to know our balance. Here we do have a 3 on the outside. We need to distribute that 3 inside. I'm going to start writing closer to the 16 question number. So 3 times w and 3 times negative 2. Notice you do have this negative 6w. Don't forget about that. If it helps you, yes, place that multiplication symbol here and here. That way you know that you actually have 3 times w. 3 times negative 2 is a negative 6. And then you still have this purple negative 6w. Now don't forget your right side. You still have that negative 27 on that side that we're just going to copy with every step. Here we do need to combine like terms. I have 3w and a negative 6w. So I'm going to do that one trick where I'm just going to draw arrows. 3 negative 6w here gives me a negative 3w. And I'm going to bring down this negative 6 here. Just like I mentioned a few moments ago, with that negative 27, you're going to just bring it down. This is now a two-step equation. I'm going to circle negative 3w, removing that 6 by adding 6 to both sides. Again, our goal is to remove. So we have negative 3 times w, dotted line. Negative 27 plus 6 is a negative 21. Divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. Goal is to remove, so we're going to remove that. That's just 1. W is equal to negative. Negative gives me a positive. 21 divided by 3 is 7. Let's check our answer. 3, open, W minus 2. Now it already has parentheses here, so I'm just going to leave a little open spot for my W. Now this is the first example. I did not copy down the original. I did, but I kind of skipped a step. I didn't write the W, and the reason I didn't do that is I already know I'm going to be putting a positive 7 here. And look what I forgot. I was so confident in what I was doing, I forgot that we had 2 W's. Let me go ahead and open up for that second W. Here's my dotted line for balance. And that second W is still 7. So both W's are 7. I'm going to type that into the calculator. So we got 3 open, 7 minus 2 close, minus 6 open, 7 close. And it does give me a negative 27 on both sides, which is happy dances. And we get to check off that positive 7 is indeed our answer. Moving on to question number 17. 17, again, it is asking us to distribute. Now I am going to start by copying it down here, negative 2x plus 3x. Now I'm going to pause. This here, I'm going to copy down here. Then notice I do have a positive 4 that I need to distribute inside. Here's my dotted line for balance. So I have a positive 4 times 5 and a positive 4, I did double bubbles again, it's okay, times a negative x. Sometimes that happens, double bubbles. Remember that these mean multiplication. So here we have the 5 and the 4. Here we have the 4 and the x. Now these happen to be like terms. I'm not going to write them together yet. You can if you want to. I'm just going to take it step by step with the multiplication of my distribution. Positive 4 times 5 is a positive 20. And 4 times negative x is a negative 4x. Here we just bring down the 2. Now, it is your choice if you'd like to combine like terms on this side here, one at a time, or you can just combine all of them. I'm going to choose to do all of them. 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 and negative 4 is a negative 3. So I'm going to combine all of them and get a negative 3x plus 20. I still have my 2 here. Got to extend my dotted line for balance. Here is my term. Here I'm going to circle it that I need. So I'm going to subtract 20 on both sides. My goal is to remove that 20, so I'm going to cross it out. It's now gone. Bring down our negative 3 times x. Here, be careful. We do have a 2 and negative 20, which gives me a negative 18. Divide both sides by negative 3. That's gone. X is equal to negative. Negative gives me a positive. 18 and 3 give me 6. Let's check our answer. Okay, this one again, I'm not going to actually skip steps since I did make a mistake on the last example. So I'm going to copy it down exactly how I see it. Negative 2, open, plus 3, open, plus 4, open, 5 minus x, close, equals 2. Now, anytime we have an open spot for our x, I'm going to be putting a positive 6. This I'm going to type into my calculator and make sure that it does give me a 2. Negative 2, open, 6, close, plus 3, open, 6, close, plus 4, open, 5, minus 6, close, equals, whew, it does give us 2. That means this is a good answer. Now in questions number 18, 19, and 20, this is asking you to translate from English statements into mathematical equations. It is asking you not to solve. So these questions, all you're doing is translating. The way we did it in class, I am asking you to circle, underline important words like product. Product means that you times things. Now we know 6 and 7 are numbers. Then I chuckled. I think we all are saying it in our brain. Minus 13 is some number. Now, some number, even though it uses the term or the word number here, it's not actually talking about a number. It's talking about an unknown number, which happens to be a variable. And a variable is a letter. Now, typically we use X, but it really doesn't matter which letter you choose. You want to use M? Great. You want to use P? Fantastic. You want to use Q? Go for it. So now, the product of 6 and 7. So the product of 6 and 7 minus 13 is some number. I'm not asking you to solve. This is all I'm asking you to do. Now, sometimes this looks silly using a multiplication symbol like this because mathematicians are lazy. Another way you can write this is 6 times 7 minus 13 equals x. This looks a little bit prettier mathematically, but both of them are absolutely okay. Next, we have another product. The product multiplication of some number. I'm going to use a different letter. I know it says some number, but remember, anytime you see some number, that represents a variable. A variable represents an unknown number, which is also a letter. I'm going to use m, because why not? And 9, we know what 9 is negative 2. So the product goes here, 9, m times 9 is negative 2. Now, on one of the exit tickets that you took, on the short little mini quizzes, some of you left your answer like this. This is actually wrong. Okay, this is incorrect. So let's go ahead and cross that out. This is format error because we never write m times 9. Instead, we write 9 times m, and then we can continue with that equals a negative 2. Be careful here. Please do not leave your answers as a m times 9. That would be marked wrong. Next, moving on, we have 7. We know what 7 is. Decreased from. Oh boy. Okay. Decreased we can translate as minus. From. Be careful. Be careful. Anytime we see from, anytime we see, oh, I'm blanking out on the other word. Let's go ahead and stay with from. We are, oh, than. Than is the other word. Oh, it came to me. Anytime we see from or than, it means switch the order. So in class, I asked you to do one of these arrows. Then let's continue translating. 4 times some number, let's use a different letter, oh, I don't know, P, is 2. So I'm going to write it wrong, and then I'm going to correct it. 7 decreased from 4 times some number is 2. This is wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Incorrect. Wrong. Cross it out. Because we had from, this from means that I have to switch the order. And switching the order gives it 4p minus 7 equals 2. Be careful. We're switching the 4p. We're switching the 7. You don't have to solve these. I'm just asking you to translate. What I am asking you to solve is these questions here. Notice there are no checks. I am asking you to check on your own. Just type things into the calculator, press enter. On the exam, I'm not going to ask you to show me your checks, but I am going to ask you to get the answer correct. So if you practice your checks, it'll be good. All right, dotted line. I'm going to copy this down for more space. 2, open, n plus 1, close it, divided by 6. Now this one is a little bit on the trickier side because of this divided by 6. We cannot go to my second story in my house unless we go through the first story first, meaning I have to get rid of that 6 in the denominator first, and I'm going to write 6 on top. Our goal is to remove the 6's, so boom, they are gone. N plus 1 is left over. I can drop the parentheses, and this I have as 12. Now we are trying to solve for n, which is really good because I'm almost done. Minus 1, minus 1. 1's are gone. Let's lower this down. N is equal to 11. So what ended up looking like a scary question only took us 2 steps. We got rid of the 6, we got rid of the 1, and we are done. Now this one is going to take you a little bit longer than that because I need to distribute. I'm going to circle that negative 3, I'm going to bring it onto this 5, and I'm going to bring it onto this negative dotted line. That means I have negative 3, open 5b, and negative 3, open negative 4, plus 2v plus 8. These I just bring down. I don't do anything with them, along with that 225. Careful when you're multiplying with your symbols. Number, number, letter, letter. So it means that we have a negative 15 with the letter. We got a negative, negative, meaning I have a positive 12. This plus right here, this one where I'm pointing to, that's an English and. So when we're writing it and we get things like a plus or a positive 12, this English and can convert to an addition symbol, meaning a positive 12. Next, I'm going to bring down our positive 2v and the positive. Ooh, I almost made a mistake here. Should be minus 8, negative 8. I'm glad I caught that. Hopefully you saw that sooner. This is a minus 8. Minus, there it is. That would have been scary. Next, combine like terms. So we got negative 15, positive 2v. I got a, don't want to use that color, positive 12 and a negative 8. Good save. We're going to combine those. We're going to combine those. And let's see what we have. Negative 15 and a positive 2 gives us negative 13 v's. Positive 12 minus 8, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I get 4 more positives. Equals, bring this down, 225. Dotted line for balance. Circle the term with a v in it, so I'm going to subtract 4, subtract 4. Negative 13 times v is what we have. Here we have 221. Divide by this negative 13. Divide by this negative 13. Now this is one of those questions in class where I did ask you to use a calculator. So this is not going to be on your multiplication table. So if you have a calculator, you may use a calculator for this question. We have a negative positive, so negative is my answer. And this is 17. Moving forward, let's see what we have next. More solving. Fantastic. Let's keep practicing. Dotted line. Now this time I am noticing I have like terms but on opposite sides. So when you have like terms, I'm going to pick up the smaller number. Okay, the smaller number. It could be a negative. It could be just smaller number in general. And I'm going to move it to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 2x on both sides. 3 minus 2 is 1. X, always carry the x. Bring down the minus 5. Here my 2 x's are gone, but I do have a 7. So be careful here. Now you can just write x. That's okay. I'm going to now move. Okay, this is what I want. So I need to add 5 to both sides. I bring down my 1 times x. This is just 1x. I am going to change it. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I get x is equal to 12. Next, let's do it again. Dotted line for balance. Find like terms if you have any. I got a negative 4x and a positive 2. Again, I'm going to find either the negative smaller number. We want smaller numbers to move. So I'm going to add 4x to both sides. Remove that 4x, bring down that 6. Here, bring down that 12. And I got 2 x's and 4 more x's. That gives me a positive 6 x's. I want the positive 6x, so that means I'm going to subtract 12 both sides. 12's are gone. We removed them. This is 6 times x. 6 and negative 12 is a negative 6. Dotted line for balance. Let's extend that. Here we have multiplication. We do need to undo that with a short little line for division. Our goal is to remove these. So this is 1. This is gone. We have an x equals. This is also 1, but be careful. You do have 1 negative. So this is a negative 1. Solve. More. There's more. All right. These should be getting more challenging for you, or it should start becoming a little bit more fun, like a puzzle. I have lots of terms that I need to combine. Notice how I have like terms on the left-hand side, like terms on the right-hand side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine these and these first. 6 and 8. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I got 14 x's, both positive, so I'm just adding. 8 and 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I got 12 x's here. Bring down your plus 12. Next, I'm going to find the smaller one. I got 12 and I got 14. So I'm going to pick up the 12 and I'm going to remove it by subtracting 12x's. Goal is to remove it. Bring down the positive 12 here. Let's change colors so we know which one we're talking about. Here I got 14 minus 12, which is 2. Do I have a letter? Yes. So anytime you do have a letter, you have to take the letter. This is 2 times x, dotted line for balance, and 12. Moving on to dividing by 2. Dividing by 2. Again, our goal is to remove that 2. Positive 12 divided by 2 is a positive 6. Next up, dotted line. Let's see if we have any like terms. I got 6 p's and a p. I only have one p here, 8p as a term, so there's nothing for me to combine on the right-hand side. I can combine here into 7 p's, but I'm also noticing there's more. I'm noticing a 2p and a negative 3. So this is no p's, just a 2, a positive 2 and a negative 3. So 2 minus 3 is a negative 1. Here I still have 8p minus 8. For my like terms, again, I'm going to pick up the one that's smaller. So I have 7 is smaller than 8, and I'm going to remove that 7p. Bring down the negative, don't forget the negative, 1. 8 minus 7 is 1p. You can write 1 if you'd like, that's okay. Bring down the minus 8. Here we need to solve for p, so this 1p is what I need. So I need to remove that negative 8. So I'm going to add 8 to both sides, removing that 8, bringing down that 1p. Negative 1 plus 8 is a positive 7. Moving on. Now, we are shifting into absolute values. There are 2 types of question I can ask you. I can ask you how many answers, and I can ask you what are my answers. This is not asking you to solve. This is asking you how many answers will there be. Dotted line. Our goal is to look in the front or behind of the absolute value. So if we see something behind it, we want to remove it. If we see nothing, well, there's nothing there, so we don't have to remove it. That means I need to remove this 7 by subtracting 7. That's gone. When you bring things down, make sure that you write your absolute value a little bit larger so you can place things inside and not let it be confusing. 7 minus 7 is 0. This is where you're going to write your pretty big-ish in the space provided thinking bubble, and you're going to write the following statement. The absolute value is blank, which means blank. And you're going to do that for every single one of these questions, but let's go and do it one step at a time. When you see a 0, that means you're going to have one solution. 0 means one solution. Let's do it again. Dotted line. We're looking. I do see something behind. Do I have anything in the front? No, nothing in the front. So that means, once again, I am going to be removing that 7 by subtracting 7 both sides. Bring down my absolute value and my insides. No, I cannot touch my insides. 2 minus 7, that is a negative 5. Thinking bubble, the absolute value is blank. There you go. Moment of silence there was. Let's take a look. The absolute value, notice what I'm highlighting. I don't care that it's 5. What I care for is that it's a negative 5. So since the absolute is negative, that means no solution. Now when you have no solution, I am going to ask you to put a box around it, because that actually is your answer, and anytime you have an absolute value equaling a negative number, you don't do anything. You stop solving. Next. Last one on this page. I think we have a little bit more to go. Hang in there. Again, we take a look at the back. We need to remove. You can see a pattern with these questions. Do I have anything on the outside? Sorry, nothing on the outside. So that means I'm going to be subtracting 7. Bring down your absolute value, 3x minus 7, absolute value, dotted line, 9 minus 7, 7, 8, 9, positive 2. Thinking bubble. Oh, let's keep it the same. The absolute value is blank, which means blank. All right, what do we have for the absolute value? Absolute value, I'm going to highlight this section in front of that too. It is positive, which means we have 2 solutions. Again, for these type of questions, they are not asking you to solve, they are asking you to identify. Moving on. It's the last page. Hang in there, you guys. It's the last page. All right, let's do this. When you have an absolute value and it's asking you to solve, you're going to take a look, dotted line for balance, behind it. I'm going to write no because I don't have space. Do I have anything behind it? No. Do I have anything in front of it? Also no. That means I'm bringing it down. There's nothing to do at all. I have nothing to remove. Immediately, I write my English statement. Because there's nothing outside and there's nothing behind it and in front of it. It's just the inside. I'm going to write this small. The absolute value means, okay, absolute value is what? Well, it's positive. I'm going to abbreviate here just for space. It's positive. That means 2 solutions, and I'm going to abbreviate solutions here. 2 solutions means 2 arrows. Bring it down, bring it down. You're going to copy the last math that you did, and since we have 2 solutions, 2 arrows, I'm going to copy it twice. Now, here is where I make my analogy. You cannot show up to my house and go into my house when all of my doors and windows are closed. So in order for someone to get inside, we have to open up our doors and let them in. Now, when you do that, things change. We don't look the same way as we do. We physically now see a positive and we physically see a negative. They have to be one positive, one negative. Now, dotted line, we're going to solve. We're going to get that x by itself by adding 2 here and here. Bringing down our x, x is equal to 6 plus 2, which is 8. This is one of our answers. Our second answer here is going to be, again, similar. Dotted line. I want x to be alone. I'm going to add 2 to both sides. 2's are gone. Bring down the x. X is then equal to negative 6 plus 2 is then negative 4. These are my 2 solutions because I had a positive here. Moving on to the next one, dotted line. Dotted line. Do I see something behind it? Yes, we need to remove it. Do I see something in front of it? No. We're going to remove that 8 by subtracting 8 both sides. Bring down your absolute value, x minus 4. Here we have 3 and negative 8, which gives me a negative 5. Here's where we do our thinking bubble. The absolute value negative, and which means, take a look at the last questions. I think it was questions number 24, A, B, and C. So if it's negative, it means no solution. We're going to box no solution because that is the answer. We're done with B. Moving on to the next one. Do I see anything behind it? No. Do I see anything in front of it? No. So I'm going to not even do a dotted line on this one. I'm going to remove that dotted line. Why? Well, because I don't need to move anything. Instead, I'm going to jump into my thinking bubble and say the absolute value is positive 8 means 2 solutions. And again, the solutions. The only reason I'm able to do that, do I have something behind it? Do I have something in front of it? So I don't have anything on the outside. So when I do my thinking bubble, I'm going to have two solutions, two arrows. Copy down the last math that we have, which is the original equation, because I did not have anything on the outside. Bring that down, I get absolute value of 2x plus 2, absolute value equals 8. Can I go inside someone's house when the door is locked? No. So that means you cannot change anything in this step. Drop your absolute value on both. Again, physical changes happen here. We're going to have a positive 8 and a negative 8. Dotted line for balance, dotted line for balance. I'm going to subtract 2 here. Bring down my 2 times x. 8 minus 2 is 6. Let's get rid of that 2 by dividing. I almost said the wrong thing. Divide by 2, divide by 2. Remove the 1. X is equal to 3. We have two solutions. This is one of those solutions. Here, moving on. We are going to do exactly the same thing as we did before. Subtract 2. Be careful here because now things are a little bit different. We do have negative 8 minus 2, which is a negative 10. Divide by 2, divide by 2. X is equal now to a negative 5 for our second answer. Alrighty, let's do our next checks. Do I have anything behind? No. You always want to check behind. Like you can see things in front of you, but you always want to make sure there's no one standing behind you first. Get rid of anything behind first. Dotted line for balance because yes, I actually do have something in front. Be careful here because mathematicians are lazy. When we have things touching, like this negative 6 is touching the absolute value, it actually means multiplication. So we need to undo and remove that negative 6 by dividing. Remove it. It's gone. Do not go inside the absolute value. The doors are locked. Negative 42 and negative 6 is a positive answer, and that gives us a positive 7. Because now I have nothing behind and nothing in front, that means now I make my absolute value statement. The absolute value. What do we see? We see a positive. Which means positive means two solutions. Two solutions means two arrows. It means we're going to take this section right here and we're going to copy twice. Do not go inside your absolute value in this step. When you open up your doors, physical changes happen. So 2x minus 14 stays the same on both. However, on one of them, you are going to be writing a positive 7. On the other one, you're going to be writing a negative 7. Dotted line for balance. I need my 2x, so I'm going to add 14 to both sides. 14 plus 7 is 21. Bring down our 2 times x. We need to get rid of that 2, so I am going to be dividing by 2, both sides. Let me stop here. When we divide, it equals 1, so it removes the 2 over 2. Bring down your x. 21 divided by 2 is not 7. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I thought for a split second I had 14. It is not true. 21 is not divisible by 2. So this is our fraction answer. 21 halves is one of my answers. Be careful. I saw 7. I thought it was 7. It's not. 21 is not divisible by 2. We keep it. Let's go ahead and do the next one. I'm glad I caught that. Plus 14, plus 14. A little bit short on space. I apologize. 2 times x. 14 minus 7 is 7. Oh boy. If we divide by 2, once again, icky. But that's okay, because there's nothing wrong with fractions. Simplify your fractions, and then put a box around them. Those are your answers. We have made it to our final 2 questions. Thank you if you are still with me for watching this video. All right. For A means I'm going to circle A. That means I'm going to rewrite it. There's nothing in between A and D for literal equations here. I need to get A by itself. It is attached to D by, dotted line for balance, multiplication, so I need to divide by D. Now this is where like terms really matter. Since T and P and D are all different letters, do not combine them. Simply write them as you see them and get the letter A by itself for this example. This one is asking for W. Now W is attached to a number. I know, shocker. Sometimes we see things like 2s and 3s and 5s in literal equations, but majority it's lots of letters. I'm going to circle 2W like I did. I'm going to get rid of P. I'm going to add P to both sides. Bring down your 2 times W. H plus P is H plus B. Don't change that. These are not like terms. We cannot combine them. My goal is to get W by itself, so now I'm going to divide by 2. I cannot combine these because H is a letter, P is a different letter, and 2 is a number. None of these are like terms, so that is the final answer. All right, beautiful people, thank you again for watching. Good luck on your exam. Make sure you submit your homework to Google Classroom. Bye!